The topic that I present in this module is Eugene Ionesco's Ame'dee or How to Get Rid of It. Eugene Ionesco's Ame'dee or How to Get Rid of It is a comedy in 3 acts created on April 14, 1954. The theme of Ionesco's short story Oriflamme is taken for the play. A murder has been committed 15 years ago. Nobody knows anything about it, since the culprits share their home with the mortal remains of their victim while confining themselves to a totally cloistered existence. The hero of the play, Ame'dee Ionesco, is like Ionesco, a writer. He is in fact writing a play about an old man and an old woman. But in 15 years of work, he has succeeded in writing only 2 lines of dialogue. Ame'dee and Madeline live cut off from the world. They have not left their apartment for 15 years and even hold their supplies through the window in a basket. Yet Madeline is still in communication with the outside world through her job. She works at a switchboard in the living room where she operates a kind of telephone exchange at certain times of day. The couple are on very bad terms with each other. They quarrel constantly. Madeline is a hard, nagging creature. But the main shadow over the marriage is the presence in the next room of a corpse, the body of a young man who came to call 15 years ago and whom Ame'dee is said, but by no means with certainty, to have killed in a fit of jealousy. But perhaps the corpse is not that of the wife's lover at all. At one point, Ame'dee suggests that he might have left again at the time the crime was committed. Or again, it might be that the corpse is that of a baby whose neighbor once left in their care and never called for again. Ame'dee gets everything so mixed up, confuses dreams and real life, and wonders himself, did I really kill him? He even doubts victim's identity. The corpse in the next room may be dead, but it is very active. Its beards and nails are growing. Its eyes glow with an eerie green light, and the dead baby itself is growing large and larger. The corpse is suffering from incurable disease of the dead, that is, geometrical progression. As the play proceeds, this growth accelerates. The door of the next room bursts open, and a gigantic foot pushes into the room. As the corpse grows, mushrooms proliferate in the apartment, which are the images of decay and corruption. Ame'dee and Madeline, the husband and wife, lead a frightful life, little by little, driven out of their house by the deceased person who is growing by leaps and bounds. What is the corpse that is growing so relentlessly? A flashback scene supplies some of the clues to the solution of this riddle. Ame'dee and Madeline appear as a newly married couple. Ame'dee is loving, importunate, and romantic. Madeline is petulant, sullen, unwilling to accept his protestations of love, deflating his romantic notions. The imagery of the dialogue is clearly sexual. The situation is that of an ardent lover and a girl who regards all advances as acts of violence and rape. Ame'dee pleads for love. He dreams of happiness in their house of glass, whereas Madeline insists that their house is of brass. The interlude, which is flashback scene, makes it fairly clear that the corpse in the next room is the corpse of the couple's dead love, the victim of their sexual incompatibility. It is a corpse made up of disgust, guilt, and regret. It poisons the atmosphere with the mushrooms of decay and decomposition, and it is growing from day to day, from hour to hour. Ame'dee quite clearly states that what is rotten in their home is the absence of love. Do you know, Madeline, if we loved each other, if we really loved each other, none of this would be important, says Ame'dee. But Madeline has become hard, unsentimental, and matter of fact. Love can't help people get rid of their troubles, says Madeline. Ame'dee must get rid of the corpse, which threatens to burst out of the apartment. With a superhuman effort, he tries to push the endless body out of the window. As Ionesco puts, It in the stage direction, the body pulled near the window should give the impression that it is dragging the whole house with it and tugging at the entrails of the two principal characters. Ame'dee is an unfortunate man of letters, beset by intellectual impotence. He writes plays, or rather, he is trying to write a play. His production is so limited that it scarcely allows him to improve his income. Ame'dee complains that the corpse is preventing him from writing. He has succeeded at nothing, neither in literature nor in love. He flees before reality. He also proves to be incapable of making a decision and of acting his own. Madeline represents the type of woman who is not fundamentally mean, but who turns bad-tempered through disillusionment. Ame'dee is going to separate forever from the wife whom he has never stopped loving. He has waited for over 15 years, a kind word from his wife, looked for an affectionate gesture on her part. The third act of the play shows Ame'dee dragging the body through the streets towards the river Seine. He meets various people, notably an American soldier, outside a bar cum brothel. Ame'dee explains to this foreigner, with whom he is unable to communicate, that he is writing a play in which he is taking the part of the living against the dead, a play against nihilism and for a new humanism. By this time, the corpse has become a kind of parachute, and Ame'dee floats in the air. Madeline wants him to come back. The mushrooms are in bloom, but Ame'dee floats away into the sky. Ame'dee gets rid of the corpse of his dead love. The play, which is simply termed as Comedy in 3 Acts, is a comedy of liberation, a dream of a new beginning that will abolish the past. The protagonist escapes from his intolerable situation simply by flying away with his burden of guilt while protesting to his wife and neighbors. I didn't want to run away from my responsibilities. It is the wind, says Ame'dee. This is an escape drama, an evasion on the playwright's part, as if he could not think how else to end his play. The corpse represents the existential anguish in Ame'dee. Ame'dee rises up and assumes full responsibility for himself. He is an agonized creature who manages to take his own agony in his hand. Eugene Ionesco is a leading French writer of the absurd drama. In The Chairs, he says, cut off from his religious, metaphysical, and transcendental roots, man is lost. All his actions become senseless, absurd, and useless. According to him, people drowning in meaningless world can only be grotesque. Their sufferings can only appear tragic by derision. Ionesco's works at first appeared as strange and disconcerting, and seemed so fond of the weird and the monstrous. His plays are dismissed by some as mere extravaganzas, born of the author's dreams and anxieties. But his feelings are those of a man of his time, plunged in the agony of his century. For Ionesco, there is nothing more delightful than to confuse and upset people. This is what we can see in Ionesco's Ame'dee.